Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our witnesses today. It's good to have you. This is such an incredibly important topic. I want to associate what you talked about just now, Secretary Jones, about the family affair, just as Chairman Reed had. Certainly, my father was an NCO in the Iowa Army National Guard. I went on to serve in the Iowa Army National Guard. My daughter is now serving active duty in the Army. It is very much a family affair. We have to do better about spreading the word to others that aren't exposed to the military. And I also want to associate myself with Senator Kane's comments about putting life on hold. I found that truly serving in the military, as a number of my family members, it was our life. And even though mine was part-time, it was still such a significant part of my life. I'm very appreciative of the opportunities that it gave to me. So again, thank you all very much for being here today. And we do have to be united as a committee on finding solutions for recruitment and retention. And that's how we're going to build that more lethal force that we need for tomorrow. And one thing that I'm diving into is competitive pay. And the promise of competitive pay is the foundation for that all-volunteer force. It does impact recruiting. It does impact retention. And the DoD's spring 2022 propensity update found that the number one reason to serve is monetary compensation, the number one reason. So with that in mind, for all of you, and we'll start with you, Secretary Camarillo, do you believe increasing military compensation, especially for those junior enlisted grade, would improve recruitment?
Senator Ernst, thanks for your leadership on this issue, and certainly something that we're looking at right now. I think we have to examine the issue in the context of the recent 5.2% pay increase that just went into effect this year with Congress's support, in addition to all of the recruiting incentives and retention bonuses that we provide. We're doing our best right now in the Army to calibrate those based on critical career fields, in addition to what we see as kind of the trends of what we're going to require down the road as we continue to transform the Army. In addition, I would also note that we've, with Congress's help, continued to revise BAH and some of the other factors that play into this equation. And as part of the quadrennial review of military compensation, the Army looks forward to working very closely with the other services, OSD, and certainly the Congress to address this issue more fundamentally.
Great. Thank you. Secretary Raven.
Thank you, Senator Ernst. Let me step back and say, for Americans who may be having the same concerns about compensation that you have raised, we have done reviews of this and found if you do an apples-to-apples comparison, if you do job X in the Navy or Marine Corps and you do job X in the private sector, that on average, the people doing the job for the military earn more than 80% or more of comparative jobs in the private sector. There are, of course, some apples to oranges comparisons out there.
Very apples to oranges when you're asking young men and women to travel around the world and be separated from their family.
Exactly, but there remains this perception that they would be earning much less than their private sector counterparts. In terms of looking at junior enlisted ranks, we have and we can continually assess what bonuses, benefits, other incentives may apply to them. I would have concerns about pulling out several rates for a general pay raise because it could cause issues of pay compression compared to higher rates. But this is something we look forward to working with you on and finding the right way forward.
Yeah, thank you. And Secretary Jones?
Senator, I agree with my colleagues that this is an important issue. We look forward to working with you. We appreciate the support of Congress in enacting the 23 budget. We have an even higher increase planned for 24, and we'll be hoping that we will get that budget enacted quickly. Right now, we are focused on our bonuses for targeted areas that we need to make sure that we can bring people in: pilots, cybersecurity, special operators, and particular areas where we feel those bonuses are most applicable, as well as the enlisted college repayment program for loans. So those are a couple of the areas in the short term that we're working on, and in the longer term, the quadrennial review will be taking a holistic look at the compensation strategy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It is an area I am very concerned about, and I understand that we do need to do some pay chart smoothing clothing over time because our enlisted soldiers are being far outpaced by our officers. And I'm not saying officers make too much. They don't. But we've seen that gap continue to widen through the years with the percentage pay increases. And when we're offering up percentage pay increases that don't keep up with the rate of inflation, you know, our soldiers, airmen, Marines, sailors, they're all suffering. So I hope that we can get some work done as we're moving through this next NDAA. But, you know, I just want to state again, I do think there is a difference between Job X in the civilian world and Job X in the military, especially when we're asking those young men and women to perhaps lay down their lives and suffer, you know, time away from family. So I'd like to see those younger enlisted members receive a little bit more pay, but it is something that I hope to work on. So thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Ernst. Senator Warren, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So let's be clear. The reason the United States has the strongest military in the world